Hello everyone and welcome to one of the cheapest small sedans but comes with top level driver assistant features, which is this 2024 Nissan Sentra. So this new Nissan Sentra is offered in 7 different variants, starting from the S manual transmission, then the S Plus, basically the CVT version of it, then comes the SV, then the SV Moonroof, then comes the SR manual transmission, then the SR CVT and the SR Premium, which is the top of the line variant. And the one that I'm actually reviewing is the base variant, which is the S manual transmission. So there are two different manual versions, SR manual and this one. So on this there is this V Motion design grille, black glossy one with the flat new Nissan badging given in the center, chrome strips on either side and no number plate, makes it look quite clean. If you look at it from the front, very neat, clean, and glossy black plastic trim given at the bottom too, and a very roundish design. It's actually a very good looking car for a small sedan. And on this S variant of the Sentra, there are these halogen headlight cluster, completely halogen. There is also a DRL, but that's also in halogen on the inner side of the headlight cluster. There are also these black color plastic on either side. They are just for the design purpose, not vents or anything. There's also a camera that is provided, even though this is a base variant, which is why I said this has a lot of driver assistant features. It's for the various safety systems given on this Sentra. And underneath the bonnet sits a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with 6-speed manual transmission. Now on the sides there are these 16-inch steel wheels with the covers on them, whereas the top variants come with the 18-inch alloy rims option too. And when it comes to these side mirrors, these are non-power foldable body colored side mirrors. They are power adjustable and they have the blind spot warning, but it's inside the frame and not on the mirror itself. And there is also this half chrome surround given at the bottom of these windows, and the doors are not any keyless entry doors or anything, but just the standard door. So you have to unlock the car and then open them, and they are the black color normal plastic door handles. Even in the back, same 16-inch steel wheels. And because this is a base variant, so the front wheels get the disc brakes, whereas the rears get the drum brakes. At the bottom, a very clean looking design too, with these subtle lines, and even in the middle some more lines. Even on the arches there are these gentle lines that flow along, but overall a pretty clean looking side profile. Now in the rear too, there are these halogen tail light cluster, completely halogen, turn signals, reversing lights, brake lights, everything halogen. This Sentra badging in chrome, the new Nissan badging in the middle, and no more S badging or anything on this one. And this car is a front wheel drive, and every Sentra comes with a front wheel drive option. And in terms of the visibility, it's actually okay, I would say, because there's like a lane in the middle and another lane on either side that you can see, but more of a top level visibility. The lower level visibility tends to be a little bit of a miss that ways. And a fairly simple bumper design in the back with this plastic meshed design given in the back, and at the bottom a single exhaust tips given on the left side. When it comes to the boot space, now to open the boot door, there is no button here, so you have to go in the front and then open the boot door, which is a bit annoying, because if it was in the rear it could have been just easier. It's just a button, not to remove so many features from that. There are scuff plates given in the back so that you don't damage your bumper, and a very big boot in the back. So when the rear seats are folded up, you can put 14.3 cubic feet of luggage in the back, which is not too bad, because the previous car that I reviewed had only a slightly bigger boot space, which was the Nissan Altima, which happens to be a mid-size sedan. So compared to that, this still has a fairly big trunk space given in the back. There are carpets given at the bottom. There's also a boot light given in the middle, and at the bottom of this boot floor sits a temporary spare wheel along with the tool kit. Now the rear seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40, but in order to fold them, again you have to go in the rear seat, and there's a lever, you pull that and fold down the seats, and when they are folded down you can definitely put longer objects on the inside. But if you have like big bags, then there is a bit of a step there, so that will create a bit of a problem putting that luggage in and out. Like sliding them is going to be slightly difficult for sure, but otherwise yes, you have the options if you have longer objects to put something in there. It's also fairly deep enough too, so that's what gives it a bigger trunk space on this Sentra. And there is also a release lever provided in case someone sits inside, someone is inside the trunk and then you want to open that. So yeah, there is that lever provided. Pull that and opens the door, and in order to close the trunk door, it's just manually operated. So just slam it and close it. So the inside of this Sentra is quite simplified, and in terms of the user experience, it's pretty straightforward. So let me first begin with the material quality. On the dashboard, there's soft touch material in the front, whereas in the back there is just plastic. Even on this driver's display, on top of that it's plastic. On the sides there is this plastic trim that is meant to look like carbon fiber. Even that's present on the door and near these cup holders, so it's meant to make the cockpit feel a little more sportier, which is why even the steering is flat bottom. On the door cards, it's soft touch materials on the top. Even on the sides it's soft touch, where you're going to be resting hands. That's leather covered with the white color stitching, and as I said, the carbon fiber plastic trim given near these switches around this center tunnel. It's all plastic, so yeah, when you rest your legs during longer drives, that's a bit on the hard side. Even the side face of this glove box is plastic. The center armrest, that's leather covered with the white color stitching, and look, there's a handbrake, a physical handbrake to be used, and more plastic given here. And there are these charcoal black seats, fabric ones, given on this Sentra, the base variant. So yes, the material quality is okay because it's meant to last long. It's going to be used as a family car, and a lot of wear and tear is going to happen, a lot of abuse of the material, so which is why it's meant to last longer, and hence a lot of plastic. Also, the quality of plastic can be improved in certain places, and also a little bit of fit and finish for sure. Now when you come to the driver's display, there is a 4.2-inch digital driver's display given in the middle. Its quality is all right, I would say, not the finest, but still good enough, and shows you plenty of information in the center, and two fixed dials on either side. So in the middle, the information that you see, all that can be changed using the buttons given on the left side of the steering wheel. And the first information is the digital speed and the average speed. Go down, you can leave it in blank if you don't want to see anything on the screen. Then the fuel economy, then there is the trip information, then the tire pressure and the speed limit sign. Then the media options, can go inside and change the media options also. I'm going to come to the media options later. Then the safety systems, the blind spot warning, the lane departure, lane assist, and all of those warnings. So basically the lane departure warning, just that. And there's also the detailed settings options, where there is the traction control inside in the VDC settings, then driver assistant, tire pressure settings, vehicle settings, lights, locks, wipers, everything, maintenance, customized display unit, factory reset, and then we come back to the main menu options. So that is your driver's display, pretty straightforward and easy to use. There is also a button given on the left side, which is the trip button. So press that and you can see the trip A, trip B information, and reset that also, and the odometer, how much the car has done in total. So yes, this is the driver's display. Now when you come to the steering wheel, this is a plastic. It is definitely just soft touch materials given on the steering wheel. In the center, it's again decently soft, I would say, with the Nissan badging given in there too, and there are buttons given on either side. And the steering wheel is tilt and telescopic, but it's a bit of a struggle because it's quite tight that way, so you really have to push it in and out and also adjust it in terms of its tilting. Now there are buttons, as I said, given on either side, but no paddle shifters or anything, of course, because this is a manual transmission. I'm going to come to that too. So there are buttons given on the right side for the standard cruise control system and the voice controls, and on the left side there are buttons given for the driver's display and also the media options. So all those buttons are given on the left side, and as I said, this is a flat bottom steering wheel, so it's pretty grippy and nice to hold, that's for sure. Slim one in that sense. And because this is a manual transmission, so don't be confused by 3 pedals on the inside, because there's a clutch, there's a brake and an accelerator, and there is a gear shifter with 6 speed to choose from and a reverse gear. Now when you come to the air conditioning controls, straightforward button operated air conditioning system provided on this Sentra S. So in the left side there is dial to switch it on and off, and that dial to change the fan speed. On the right side there is the dial to change the temperature, so you get single zone air conditioning system on this Sentra S manual transmission variant. Then buttons at the bottom to change the flow of air and the fresh air option buttons, and there are also buttons given on the top on either side for the heated seats. So the driver and the passenger side seats are the heated seats, going to come in quite handy during the winters. And again, this is a base variant but still has that heated seat option. Now there are also vents, if you see, air conditioning vents in the middle given in circular, and then you can switch them on and off by twisting them and all of that. And on either side there are just the standard rectangular ones given on the edge. Now when you come to the infotainment screen, there is a 7-inch infotainment screen which is a TFT touch screen provided on this Sentra S, whereas the higher variants get bigger screens and better quality of the screen. But yes, this one is, it's a bit basic, and it's also got a lot of glare, and especially on a bright day sometimes it tends to has a washout kind of feeling when you look at it. But straightforward options on the screen, so there is AM, FM, all your connectivity options, Bluetooth, audio, auxiliary, phone and connections. So there's also wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity provided with this 7-inch infotainment screen. Then there is the settings option. I like how the touch feel is, it's quite instant the moment you touch, so there is no hit or miss that ways. Connections, clock, phone, system, sounds. Then there is the camera option, change the camera options like brightness and everything, saturation and all of those, contrast. Then the volume, beeps and others options, and then come out into the main menu options. So that's about it, that's how you operate the infotainment screen. There are dials given on either side for volume and the scroller, and at the bottom buttons given for the brightness of the screen to adjust that, track changer, audio, menu option, phone option, display option, and then back. That's about it. That's your infotainment screen on this Sentra S. Now in terms of the charging, so there is one standard USB port along with a 12-volt power socket given in the front, and just that's about it. No ports given for the rear passengers, but this is just for the base variants, whereas on the higher variants there are more USB ports given in the front and also given in the back too, and a very simpler center console design in that sense, no buttons or anything. When you come to the storage, in the door cards you can easily put about 1.5 liter worth of bottles in the front, and very tiny storage in the back. Again, the door cards at the bottom also are made out of plastic. Then there is this storage underneath the air conditioning controls, you can put your keys and wallets, that's about it, quite tiny that way. Then 2 normal cup holders provided here. There is this glove box, decently big, even on the passenger side, 1.5 liter worth of storage. There is also this sunglass holder, and there's this tiny hand rest, the center one, in which you can put about 1/2 liter bottle, and again wallets and phones on the inside. Whereas in the rear, in the door cards, you can put 1 liter worth of bottle on either side, but there are no cup holders provided in the center armrest because there is no center armrest. Now on this Sentra there are these extendable sun visors, but there is no sunroof given on this thing, and honestly I'm glad because it's a very hot day today. Exactly, it's like 35 degrees, but the real feel is around 40 degrees, and this air conditioning is coming in quite handy, because Nissan has pretty decent air conditioning system, and because there is no sunroof, so it eliminates that additional bit of heat that penetrates into the cabin. Let me know in the comment section below, do you ever use a sunroof? I know for sure, like summers, yes, but otherwise most of the times in the winters not going to be even using it. So what's the point of having the sunroof? But let me know in the comment section below. Now when it comes to the seats on this Sentra S, there are these charcoal fabric seats, and honestly they are quite soft and very comfortable seats. They are a bit on the sportier side, so there is good amount of support on the side and even at the bottom, and they are quite long enough, so my under thigh has decent amount of support, I would say. And again, because this is a hot day and these are fabric seats, so it does not get hot at all even when you sit on it, or if the car has been sitting outside for long. So the fabric seats have that benefit. Yes, they do get a little dirty that way, but nonetheless there are benefits for sure for the fabric seats. And these headrests are also quite soft. Now in terms of the comfort in these seats, as I said, for longer journeys they are going to be very comfortable. And in terms of the adjustability, so the driver side seat is 6-way manually adjustable, whereas the passenger side seat is just 4-way manually adjustable. Now on the left side, on this Sentra S variant, there is an eco button provided, so it's simply just press that button and you switch into eco mode, or you switch it off and you are back into normal mode. In the rear, it's pretty spacious for a small sedan. So in terms of the knee room, there is about 4 fingers worth of knee room. Yes, there is. And the headroom is about decent, although about 6 foot someone will start brushing their heads against the ceiling. And the seat is in my driving position, and after that I'm getting this much of knee room. Also there is space underneath the seat to slide your legs during the longer journeys. Comes in quite handy, especially during longer journeys, which lets you stretch your legs a little bit in the rear too. And the seats, again, they are the charcoal fabric seats given in the back too. They are pretty soft and comfortable in the back too. There is good amount of support in the back and also at the bottom, and they are quite long enough that way. Not that broad, I think, but yes, quite long that way. The thighs, yes, they have decent amount of support, although still it's still lacking throughout, I would say. And also these seats are that way quite low down, but not very low down that it makes you feel like you're sitting nearly at the bottom of the floor. So that's a good mix of balance in terms of the seating position, because the shoulder line of the window is nearly matching my shoulder and not like I'm like gone down very much. So that's a good thing. And also these windows roll down completely in the rear too, so that's a good thing. And in terms of the comfort in the seats in the back, as I said, it's very comfortable. There is no handrest provided, but there is a bit of a tunnel given in the back. And in the middle, once I sit, this is the thing when you don't have a handrest, so there is a softer backrest, and also the bottom side is also quite soft that way, so definitely a passenger can sit in the middle. But it is slightly hard, the backrest, not entirely soft, that will make you feel like you're very comfortable in the middle seat. But yes, it's going to be good enough for the longer journeys. Also there are 3 headrests, fixed ones, not the adjustable ones, provided in the back. There are also child isofix points given in the back too. And the door card quality now returns to normal plastic throughout. Everywhere there's this carbon fiber plastic trim given near the button, but where you're going to be resting hands, that's leather covered with the white color stitching. As I said, in the door cards you can put about 1 liter worth of bottle, that's just about it. And there are 6 speakers given on this S variant of the Sentra, and because there is no charging ports or even the air conditioning vents given in the back, so there is this just the normal dull plastic provided in the back. But there is definitely a cutout for the models upwards, because there will be USB ports provided on that. So that just makes you feel like you're driving the base variant of the Sentra when you look at that center tunnel which is protruding back with just the normal plastic, but overall it is a very comfortable space on this new Sentra in the rear. So this Nissan Sentra S comes with a 2-liter 4-cylinder DOHC engine that produces 149 horsepower and 146 pound-feet of torque, and this engine is mated to a 6-speed manual transmissions, which means there is 3 pedals, there's a clutch, there's a brake and an accelerator, and things to keep you busy on the inside. So in terms of the engine and the gearbox, it's rather nice. The experience is quite pleasant, I would say. The gear shifts are crisp, and even the clutch has a very gentle bite point, so that's not too bad. It's quite easier to just switch to gears, and the gears also fall in quite easily using the clutch, and also at higher speeds you can really half clutch it and drive this thing too. So yeah, not bad in terms of the gear changes and also the response. Just that the gear shifter, the transmission itself, can be a bit jerky, especially if you put your hand on it and try to feel it. It tends to be a little more shaky. But yeah, that's the only thing. You're not going to be driving with your hands on the gear shifter anyways. You shouldn't, because it's not a right thing to do. So yes, overall the engine performance, that's also rather good. It's ample for this car, which is a tiny sort of car, small sedan. So for that, this 2-liter engine is pretty plenty, and the power delivery is quite smooth in that sense. Even then, the torque is pretty good for whatever 146 pound-foot is given on this thing. But overall, yes, the engine and the gearbox is rather good combination given on this one, and then you can take a control of the gear changes, so which is how you can even decide what sort of fuel economy you want from this car. So on longer journeys on the highways, so if you go long, then you can easily get around 6 to 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers, whereas inside the city I've managed to get around 8 to 8.5 to 9. So it varies depending on the traffic, but again, it's still pretty frugal if you see that, you know, the engine itself is quite efficient, and with the gear changes you can even get more efficiency because you are in control of how you want to drive. Plus there is an eco mode also, but I don't think it will be needed. It's just drive it the way you want and then get the best efficiency, and this car would manage to deliver a good efficiency from this entire package. So overall, yes, it's a satisfying sort of combination given on this Sentra S. And then whereas on the higher variants there is the CVT gearbox also, so at least that removes the grumbling bit from the transmission side of it. Now when you come to the suspensions, they are on the comfortable end, so they soak up the bump quite nicely. The dampers are really good, and it gives you a very soft and subtle ride. There's not much roll to the car also, so it remains quite planted throughout, and plus combined with the seats, the setup is quite comfortable. When you come to the steering, that's also an electronic steering given on this Sentra, and the response is rather good. It's got a good feedback and it behaves quite well, especially the turn radius. That's also quite small on this thing, and overall, yes, there is good amount of feedback from the system because it's calibrated quite well, and also there's a progressive setup to the steering also, so it's slightly lighter at lower speeds, and as we progress it becomes harder eventually, so that's a good thing. So overall steering also, yes, it's good to, you know, drive around with this steering setup. Now when you come to the brakes, so there are 2 front disc brakes, whereas in the rear there is the drum brakes because this is a base variant, so they've put that on this thing. And in terms of the performance, yes, you can feel that there are front disc brakes because the moment you press the brakes, it usually, you know, squats in the front because of the fact that the front disc brakes are quite grippy and the rears are the drums, so which is why it's a little sensitive in that sort of response, and especially if you have an emergency braking or something, that's when you will notice. But on daily basis inside the city and stuff, it's just all right. It's not going to be that noticeable that you're breaking drums in the back. So yeah, overall it's okay. Even the pedal setup is quite progressive in that sense. When it comes to the noise and the vibrations, not much from the tire noise, mainly to do with the fact that these are 16-inch rims provided, so they also offer additional comfort during the ride, so they help absorb more bumps too. And yeah, they are quite that way silent in terms of the operations. The 18-inchers would become slightly noisy for sure, and the build quality is okay, seems to be, so there's nothing rattling or loose as such right now. There's not much wind whooshing. There is slight near the windows, but that's about it. The engine can get a little noisy when you stress it out, so let me just put it, but still not too bad. It's not very noisy, unlike the CVT combination of the engine and the gearbox, so even on that front it's quiet. Now when it comes to the safety systems, even though this is a base variant, the safety tank given on this is like the top trim level. So there are 10 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags for the driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags for the rear passenger, 2 curtain airbags. Then there is also driver and passenger side knee airbags. There are also 2 child isofix points in both the rear seats. Then there is also a single camera reversing system, and the output from that is a bit grainy and not really that great, I would say, and maybe that needs a little bit of improvement. And there's also ABS, there's tire pressure monitoring system, there's EBD, then there is the front collision warning, the front pedestrian warning. So as I said, this car may be basic, but it's got everything, even traction control and all of that is provided. Blind spot warning, that also provided. So yeah, in terms of safety systems, this is very loaded. When it comes to the pricing, that's where it sounds really a good deal, because the base variant, which is this S manual transmission, comes at $25,000, a little over that, but I'm going to put the exact pricing, whereas the top variant comes at $33,000, which is the SR Premium. Now, to be honest, in terms of the pricing, this is a very good deal, and personally I would suggest, if you still want something where you want like a car that's a little loaded, then the SV Premium variant, yes, that's something you can check out. The SV Moonroof variant is something, or even the SV standard CVT model, because that has leather seats, bigger screens, all of those extra tech features which you want from within the car, dual zone air conditioning, all of that is there on that SV variant. So yeah, that comes around, I think, $28,000, which is just $3,000 additional dollars you pay, and then get a nearly top trim, because the safety systems is all there, even from the base till the top. So this car actually is a very good perspective in small sedan. And let's be honest, these days cars are not that cheap, and to still find cars like these that offer, all round package, like it's got good space, good trunk space, it's practical, it's frugal, it's also easier to just get in and drive. So for that, this car definitely is a very good combination, and make sure to check this car out, because it's a very good small sedan in its segment. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care, and drive safe. I've hit a bit of a traffic now. Right now I'm in a manual.